Now at 9, residents pressure Carthage officials to solve the city's stray dog problem.
As lawmakers look to scale back spending, some educators say schools may be left behind. I'm Blake Gully and I'll have that story coming up.
The feds are sounding the alarm and making a push to regulate a drug known as gas station heroin. I'm Jared Halpern at the White House. I'll have details coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Frustrated Carthage residents come together demanding officials take action on the city's growing stray dog problem. This is KOAM News. I'm Tanya Bach. Community members filled a meeting room at the Ulmer Funeral Home this evening. They say they're tired of waiting for solutions as dog attacks continue to threaten the community. Both current and several former city council members attended, as well as the city's chief of police and full-time animal control officer. KOAM's Kenny Foreman spoke with residents who say they're ready to push for change.
It's all the time. I've been bit on a regular basis, like every 6 months. And sometimes the owners are there. They don't care. And you can't call the police. The police won't do anything about it.
Fearing for their own safety, the safety of their own pets, and the safety of stray animals themselves, Carthage residents are continuing to voice their displeasure at the lack of action taken by city officials to keep the animals under control.
I'd like to see a person who is in charge of this go around and get the stray dogs and pick them up. And I don't want them to be taken care of. Why can't they put them someplace where people can take care of them, make them happy?
Perhaps the most vocal is longtime resident Georgiana Diener. After a lack of success in speaking to the city, she's forming a group of other concerned residents in hopes of bringing change.
We don't want an animal attack in our town. We don't want rabies in our town. I think we all should want animals taken care of and have their proper vaccinations. We don't want litters of pups dumped out in the country to starve to death because we allow this overbreeding in our city limits.
Among her concerns include a lack of a trap-neuter release program, lack of enforcement on an ordinance regarding at-large dogs, and a desire to have every dog in the city licensed.
If we would just make everybody enforce the city license, we would know where every dog that we picked up lived. We would know that dog had shots or it wouldn't have a city license. But somehow over the last decade, we've just let everything lax to where nobody enforces anything.
Citing the upcoming Carthage City Council election, she's determined to make sure that their voices are heard by more officials.
Every one of us in this town can do better if we want to, because animals can't speak for themselves and they can't take care of themselves. If you're not going to take care of an animal, don't get one.
In Carthage, Kenny Foreman, KOAM News.
Residents are calling for an animal control officer with more experience and an agreement with the Humane Society to start accepting stray animals. Carthage's Chief of Police, Chad Deiniger, told KOAM he would also like to push for dogs to be licensed. Meteorologist Austin Stantz joins us now with a first look at weather.
Thanks, Tanya. Yeah, if we take a look at our monthly recap for the month of March, my goodness, has it been a warm one. Take a look just below me here. Above average days, 26 days. Now, we know heading into the 31st that it's going to be well above average. We're predicting back into the 80s once again. So that is included in there. Only 4 days have been spent below average for the month of March. One of those days in particular, the 21st, we had 93 degrees. That was the warmest day ever recorded in the month of March in Joplin, Missouri. So yes, very warm. These temperatures are still pretty warm out there. Winds directly out of the south right now, 70s across the entire region right now. Still in some drought conditions across the area, and boy, could we use some rainfall. And Mother Nature's hearing the call because yes, we have some rainfall on the way over the next several days. It's going to be a very active start to March. We're going to break it all down coming up.
All right, thank you. Authorities have arrested a man suspected of firing a gun in Carthage overnight. Investigators say someone fired a gun around 9:45 last night on the 1200 block of Olive Street in Carthage, and a vehicle fled the scene. Authorities taped off a home and closed the street. Officers say the people involved knew each other and there was no threat to the general public. Authorities arrested 67-year-old John Hornbeck, who lives at that address. They've charged him with assault, felon in possession of a firearm, delivery of a controlled substance, and property damage. He's held on a $500,000 cash-only bond. In Missouri, the state budget is moving forward after clearing the House, with questions now turning to how it could impact schools. KOAM's Blake Gully has more on the debate as the proposal heads to the Senate.
What we're dealing with is, in terms of real dollars, public education is still being funded like it's 2006.
That's the concern from education leaders as Missouri's proposed state budget now heads to the Senate after passing the House. A dozen spending bills totaling more than $50 billion make up the plan, setting funding for schools, healthcare, and other state services.
Unfortunately, this year, they're not even meeting the low benchmark they set for themselves to fully fund education. And you add that with their unwillingness to fully fund transportation, which means students in rural districts are likely to spend more time on a bus than ever before. Local communities are going to have to find ways to pay for that out of their own pockets. And fundamentally, we're seeing the legislature let students of the state of Missouri down.
As the budget moves forward, some lawmakers say the focus is on scaling back spending while working toward tax relief.
The biggest fear everybody has right now is there isn't a lot of certainty. So we're in the middle of trying to roll back or scale back our state budget, right? Government has been growing and expanding. So we're trying to cut back some of that so we can give more tax relief, property tax reform, income tax reform. And in order to do that, we have to do something, with the budget.
Both chambers will have to come to an agreement before a final version can move forward. Blake Gully, KOAM News.
What lawmakers decide here could directly impact classrooms and communities across the state. Well, coming up, the war in Iran rages on.
President Trump continues to weigh sending U.S. troops into Iran as talks to end the war continue. I'm Rebecca Castor with the latest coming up.
But first, the FDA moves to ban dangerous gas station heroin sold in stores nationwide. The Make America Healthy Again movement is targeting a dangerous substance that's been alarming medical professionals for months. Some people call it gas station heroin. It's an unregulated drug sold at stores across the country, and the FDA wants to make it illegal. Fox News correspondent Jared Halpern has more from the White House.
These are things that you can buy in shops and gas stations around the country.
It's called tianeptine, but it's better known by its nickname, gas station heroin, a largely unregulated antidepressant that can produce euphoria in high doses. It can be more potent than morphine, and it's highly addictive. And now the feds are stepping in. FDA Commissioner Marty McCary tells Fox News the agency is making a major push to regulate the drugs, claiming they hook people the same way as opioids, with addicts needing more and more as they sink deeper into addiction.
It binds to the opioid mu receptor in the body. And so that means it is functioning like an opioid. And so people who take it sometimes find themselves on higher doses over time.
The FDA wants to classify the drugs as Schedule I substances, meaning high potential for abuse and no accepted medical use. Democrats on Capitol Hill are largely supporting the effort, but some also claim President Trump's budget cuts are making the fight harder.
We can't forget the context in which all of this is hearing. A year of chaos at the public health agencies, during which billions of dollars of grants to fight substance use disorder have been slashed.
Meanwhile, the FDA says they're starting a public awareness campaign, hoping to educate families as the regulatory process plays out.
We want parents to know about these substances as we work with the DEA, as we have recommended scheduling for these as a controlled substance.
14 states have restricted the sale of tianeptine, including Connecticut just last week. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
More than 250,000 people die worldwide from meningitis every year. A study published in The Lancet showed that 2.5 million people worldwide are infected with meningitis, and it's the leading cause of neurological disabilities globally. Researchers say access to vaccines needs to be improved. BMI, or body mass index, may not always be accurate in assessing if someone is overweight or obese. A study in Italy and Lebanon found that a third of people that BMI defined as obese were actually in the lower overweight category, and more than half of those deemed overweight were actually in the normal weight category. Researchers say BMI should be combined with body circumference measurements for the greatest accuracy. Austin is next with a complete look at your forecast, and later experts say now is the time to flood-proof your home before storms hit.
Here's your Skywatch weather forecast from the trusted Roper Kia Weather Center.
Well, we have a very comfortable evening on tap for tonight. Taking a look at 32nd and Range Line, quiet on the roadways right now. Temperatures outside right now, 73 degrees still. I told you, it's mild out there. Thing though is it's also still pretty breezy. Winds out of the south 22 miles per hour. Still seeing gusts near 35 miles per hour. So if you are driving on the roadways and you're feeling your car kind of weave a little bit back and forth, you're going to kind of want to counter steer against some of those winds on the roadways today. Now, as we make our way into the later evening hours, check this out. We're still in the 70s here by around the midnight, 1 a.m. hour, and then we're going to start dropping down into the upper 60s. Some cloud cover does begin to move in. An isolated sprinkle or two can't be completely ruled out this evening, but we're going to expect things to stay pretty dry throughout tonight. 66 degrees overnight tonight, breezy out there with gusts near 30 at times. So yeah, we're talking about these winds, right? The good part is that it's carrying all that warm air in for us out of the south. Now, as we head into tomorrow, a lot of that warm air going to return again here. 6 a.m. Tuesday, gusts still near 30, 35 miles per hour. And this kind of lasts throughout the afternoon as well. So what we're expecting for tomorrow, temperatures back into the 80s. Once again, near 83 degrees, mostly cloudy and breezy out there. Some thunderstorm chances starting to arrive as we head into those later evening hours. Now, as we head from Tuesday night into Wednesday, we do have a 1 out of 5 or a marginal risk of severe weather here from the Storm Prediction Center. You'll see that yellow just off to our southwest. That's that slight risk, or a 2 out of 5. It's not out of the question that that may be extended a little bit further north into portions of the region, but we'll keep an eye on that. What we're looking at here for timing is some scattered thunderstorms during the morning hours on Wednesday, becoming more widespread as we head into the evening hours. Expecting more of a wind and maybe hail threat there as well, but also some heavy rain associated with some storms as well. Let's talk about it. Here we go, headed through Tuesday afternoon back into the 80s. Now, once we head back into Tuesday evening, another comfortable evening, widespread cloud cover though. Here we are 6 a.m. though on Wednesday. A few scattered showers you see popping up across the region here. Temperatures still pretty mild, near 70 by 10 a.m. A few isolated thunderstorms could be on the stronger side here. A couple of these guys could have some pockets of heavy rain, maybe some hail associated with them. But then once we make our way into Wednesday afternoon, back into the 80s. Once again, another very warm day, but look at Wednesday evening. We got a line of showers and thunderstorms developing off to our west. This is 10 p.m. This is when we can start seeing that wind threat come to fruition as we head into the late hours of Wednesday into the early morning hours of Thursday. The good news is you see models here indicating that it starts to lose some steam a little bit there. There's not a whole lot of atmospheric dynamics for this storm to tap into. So while we do see a wind threat, the severe threat is relatively low. Now, as we head from Thursday into Friday, yes, another warm day there, but then we have another system that moves in. You'll see that drop off in temperature after the cold front passes. The good news is everything clears out just in time for the holiday.
And we don't need the severe weather, but we need rain, of course. So
we desperately need the rainfall.
That will come in handy. And it's nice that we can do our hunts on Sunday without the rain.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks, Austin. We'll want to stay ahead of severe weather seasons. Scan this QR code with your phone and head straight to the updated weather resources page on our website, where you can find information on storm shelters, weather updates, closings, and road conditions. It's called the Weather Resource page on KOAMNewsNow.com. Well, spring storms are approaching, and emergency officials say now is the time to prepare for potential flooding. Nick Kelly shows us what you can do to protect your home.
While the expected rain amounts this week may not be triggering flooding concerns right now, emergency management officials are saying use this time to make sure your home has a flood safety plan.
Aside from making sure your yard is clean so objects can't be swept away in floodwater and cause damage, your flood plan should have a safe place to evacuate and a kit to help you over 2 or 3 days. Your kit should have a flashlight, batteries, weather radio, first aid kit, and non-perishable food and water. Nicolette Zangara with Greene County Emergency Management also says to have extra medication and pet food packed if needed, and don't forget about important documents like insurance policies.
Printing out your insurance plans is also a good idea, because if for some reason your phone's not working or we don't have cell service, then you have a copy of it and you know what's covered.
Well, experts say you can install a French drain to direct water away from your foundation. You can also consider using a dehumidifier to remove excess moisture in the air. Well, coming up next, just in time for Easter, good news for your grocery budget as egg prices fall to half of what they cost last year. It will soon be time to pay up for more than 7 million student loan borrowers enrolled in the SAVE plan. Federal court struck down the Biden-era repayment plan this month. On Friday, enrollees started receiving instructions to pick a new plan this summer. Most will be forced to choose higher monthly payments. The Joplin Chipotle restaurant on South Rangeline is closed until further notice following a fire in a wall today. No one was hurt. Before Chipotle can reopen, repairs must be made and approved by a building inspector. Whether you like them scrambled, hard-boiled, or over easy, breakfast lovers don't love it when the cost of eggs fly over the coop. But after an extended period of challenging bird flu cases, the poultry industry is rebounding, increasing production and helping to lower prices. Fox News' Chris DeMeo reports.
While it seems like prices remain high for just about everything, experts in agricultural economics are giving consumers some good news to crack into.
Well, I think we all know about the rapid rise of egg prices, record highs of a year ago, but what's happened is they've come down.
According to Dr. David Anderson of Texas A&M University, bird flu impacts on egg-laying hens have calmed.
But what's happened is the avian influenza has slowed down a little bit, and we've had time to rebuild our flocks, time to get more chickens, to start producing more eggs.
Highly pathogenic avian influenza is very contagious among birds. The Department of Agriculture says if one bird is infected, farmers must kill the entire flock to contain the disease. But chickens are making a comeback.
We got 315 million egg-laying hens on March 1. It's the most for March since 2022. So we're really rebuilding our flocks. It's certainly more. It's about 8% more than we had a year ago. A year ago, we had about 291 million.
Industry experts say it's normal for prices to slightly rise the closer we get to Easter, but note costs should still go over easy on your wallet.
In the wholesale market, we've crept up a little bit but still prices are less than half of what they were a year ago. Whether we're looking at the retail price data from the Consumer Price Index or in the underlying wholesale market, egg prices are way below where they were a year ago.
Chris DeMeo, Fox News.
Up next, the Easter Bunny visits Pittsburgh schools for an annual egg hunt. Some bunny specials hopping into Pittsburgh elementary schools this week. The Pittsburgh High School Key Club is hosting their annual Easter hunts for all USD 250 elementary schools. And today, students at George Nettles Elementary got to hunt for up to 10 eggs each before trading them in for candy. Key Club organizers say the event brings high schoolers and younger students together for a happy celebration.
So I've really just loved connecting with my community, and this was passed down from the college level of Kiwanis at Circle K, and we just kind of ran with this project to try to have something fun for them to do.
Easter egg hunts continue at the other 3 elementary schools throughout the week. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. TSA agents are getting paid for the first time in over a month, but the funding fight is not over yet. And Iran strikes critical infrastructure as the president sets a new deadline.
You're watching the 4 states' most watched news.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. TSA agents finally got paid today. Fox is learning it does not cover the entire pay period. The Department of Homeland Security has been shut down. So while it's a welcome relief, there's still a lot of frustration as the funding fight drags on. Fox News correspondent Caroline Elliott reports.
After weeks of chaotic, long lines at the airport, TSA got paid and lines are still long, but not 3 hours long.
It's good for the travelers. It's good for the workers. I think it's a win-win for everybody.
Wait times at some of the hardest hit airports like Atlanta and Houston were significantly better on Monday morning, but it's unclear how long that could last.
And yes, we are getting paid, and we're very, very grateful for that. But there's still questions regarding next pay period. We don't know if we're going to be funded.
Lead TSA officers told Fox News because the fight is still going on in Washington, the next paycheck is not promised. And that's why so many TSA agents are still calling out of work. On Sunday, more than 3,000 agents didn't show up, more than 10% of TSA's entire workforce.
Nothing will be truly normal again until Democrats do the right thing to fund this agency fully.
TSA is stuck in the middle of a long, drawn-out fight in Congress that has nothing to do with travel. The problem is Republicans and Democrats cannot agree on ICE policies and Border Patrol.
There's a few simple reforms we've been talking about now for weeks. Wearing body cameras, identifying what agency you're from.
It's clearly the Democrats' fault right now, and we're still negotiating.
Lawmakers left Washington Friday without a solution, but the White House is now asking Congress to cut their Easter recess short to fix the problem. In New York, Caroline Elliott, Fox News.
Well, Cuba fights for survival as President Trump predicts the island nation's collapse. The country received its first oil delivery this year from a sanctioned Russian tanker that President Trump allowed to dock. Blackouts and fuel shortages are forcing hospitals to scale back operations while residents struggle to find basic necessities. The oil shipment provides only about 10 days of relief as Trump maintains his blockade and declares, quote, Cuba is finished. Well, President Trump is threatening to target Iran's energy resources and other vital infrastructure if a deal to end the war is not made soon. He's also sent thousands of additional soldiers, sailors, and Marines to the region as the Pentagon is reportedly putting together plans to send ground forces into Iran. Fox News correspondent Rebecca Castor has the latest from Washington.
The U.S. may be waiting to target Iran's energy sites, but the Iranians have shown little regard for critical infrastructure. Monday, Iranian missiles hit water and electrical plants in Kuwait and an oil refinery in Israel.
This is not time to pull back. They still have systems. You can see they're still able to fire rockets, missiles. We need to take down this system entirely.
Even so, President Trump says negotiations with Iran are going well, and a deal could even be finalized this week. If not, Iran's electrical plants, oil wells, and vital energy infrastructure on Karg Island could become targets.
If the Iranians reject this golden opportunity, the greatest military in the history of the world continues to stand by to provide President Trump with every option available to ensure this regime continues to pay a grave price.
That includes thousands of U.S. Marines and Army paratroopers now in the region, as well as Navy SEALs and Army Rangers. According to the Washington Post, the Pentagon is preparing for weeks of ground operations in Iran, such as targeted raids. But the plans do not include a full-scale invasion.
Quite frankly, the United States is in a very strong position. There's nothing that should be given in order to get them to agree to end the hostilities.
President Trump's latest deadline for Iran to show it's serious about ending the war and reopen the Strait of Hormuz is a week from today. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Austin is next with a complete look at your forecast and later helping those who need it most.
Needing to donate some children's clothing? Quapaw Nation could use your help. I'm Nelly Lopez with more details on that coming up.
Here's your Skywatch weather forecast from the trusted Roper Kia Weather Center.
Well, if you've stepped outside at all this evening, you've noticed two things. One, it's still very warm and mild even after the sun is set. And two, it's pretty windy out there right now. 73 degrees right now, mainly clear skies at the moment. Take a look, winds out of the south, about 22 miles per hour. Still seeing gusts near 35, even 40 at times. So that's still pretty breezy. Now, as we head into the later evening hours tonight, here we are heading into the midnight hour. Temperatures still near 70. Notice we do have some scattered cloud cover across the region making its way into the area. And then just a few patchy showers here, more of like an isolated sprinkle tonight. So we're just having some moisture begin to build in here. So again, an isolated sprinkle or maybe just a short rain shower. Not out of the question. This would be mainly overnight Tuesday into your Tuesday morning, but nothing that's going to impact your morning commute. 66 overnight, breezy, partly cloudy as we head into those later evening hours. Winds begin increasing again as we head into tomorrow, staying out of the south, fueling us for that warm air once again for your Tuesday. So what we're looking at for tomorrow, about 83 degrees, mostly cloudy and breezy. The cloud cover increases throughout the day, but then we start to see thunderstorm chances begin to develop later in the afternoon and evening into the overnight. Here we are. This is for Wednesday, the SPC severe weather outlook for day 3. We are at a 1 out of 5 or a marginal risk across the region right now. What does this mean for us? Well, on Wednesday, we're going to be looking at a few scattered thunderstorms in the morning, becoming more widespread in the evening with some elevated hail and wind threat. Let's break some of that down here for you. So making our way through Tuesday, cloud cover increases, temperatures back into the 80s. Once again, we head into Tuesday evening, a few scattered showers begin to develop, mild evening overnight once again, a few scattered thunderstorms early Wednesday morning, not out of the question here. Heading into Wednesday afternoon, notice these kind of isolated areas of scattered showers and thunderstorms there. Those scattered thunderstorms, some of them could be on the stronger side, but again, notice Wednesday back into the 80s. Once again, another very warm day. Then we start to see some showers and thunderstorms off to the north, but now look off to the west. We have this line of thunderstorms beginning to develop here off to our west around 10 o'clock. This is going to be our wind threat beginning to move into our far western communities. Notice temperatures across the region still very warm and mild here. So we're going to see that begin to push in during those late evening hours into the overnight. But notice that it starts to kind of break apart a bit. Doesn't look as impressive that we just saw when it was off to the west here. So there's not a whole lot of atmospheric dynamics in play. But should we be able to pull in some more moisture, this will help fuel some of those showers and thunderstorms. But that wind threat is going to be from Wednesday night into Thursday morning. All right, what can we expect beyond Wednesday? Well, beyond Wednesday, what we're looking at here into Thursday, still not bad in the 70s there. Friday, back into the 80s, but then we have another system that moves in, and that brings a cold front that just plummets our temperatures into the 50s on Saturday, but everything clears out just in time for the weekend so everyone can have a good holiday.
Yeah, and we definitely want to have a good holiday, so this is how you do it.
Yeah, we get the rain, we get clearing by the holiday, so if you're going to go hunting for eggs, it might just be a little soggy.
Yeah, it'll be nice though. All right, thanks, Austin. Well, don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. It's called the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Well, students traded textbooks for buzzers this evening as Pittsburgh State hosted a showdown of civic smarts. The 2026 National Civics Bee brought together young scholars at McPherson Hall on the university campus. During 2 hours of intense competition, participants answered challenging questions about U.S. history, government structure, and civic engagement. Organizers say the bee highlights the importance of civic education and encourages active citizenship among young people. Still ahead, the Colgan Panthers host a doubleheader on the Diamond. Plus, Riverton faces off with Girard. Zach Petrick has those stories, highlights, and more up next in sports.
A new week means new opportunities for local schools to get after it on the Diamond in both baseball and softball. In Riverton, the Rams host Girard on the baseball diamond. Let's go to the third inning. Girard leads 6-0. Drake Smith lines one the other way for the Trojans. That brings in 2 runs to extend the lead. Trojans still threatening now. Robbie Browning smacks this one towards second, where they get the out on the bag, but throw the ball away. 2 more Trojans racing to score to make it 10-0. Pitching change made. Levi Feldkamp in now. He blows this one by the batter to limit the damage, but Girard would still take game 1 by a score of 12-0 before also beating the Rams in the nightcap 11-0. Let's head over to the softball diamond. Lady Rams hosting the Trojans. In the second, Addison Bowman smacks this one towards the middle. A nice play made up the middle, but everybody is safe. Gives Girard a 1-0 lead. Stay in the second inning now. Jasmine Kaufman drops down a bunt. and brings in a run, and that one is thrown away, and she heads to second 2-0. Trojans look to add on. Emily Hanks drops this one between every fielder on the Lady Rams team. 3-0 Girard. They'd hold on to win game 1 6-8. The Trojans would again beat the Lady Rams 17-2 in game 2. Colgan battling Baxter Springs in their first home doubleheader of the season. Opening frame of the game, Jarrett Lawson turns on this pitch, lining it down the left field line for a double to get a runner in scoring position. Panthers' Brock Raydell would bounce back, including a pair of ground balls to escape the inning scoreless, capped off by this stretch and scoop from Jaden Brown at first. Now let's go to the home half of the first. RBI opportunity for Karsten Simmons, who takes advantage with this single up the middle. Brown scores from second as Colgan lead early. Panthers take down Baxter Springs 10-1 in game 1 before getting another 9-run win 11-2. Let's go to the softball diamond for the Panthers, taking on the Lions at Pitt State softball field for a doubleheader. Third inning of the game, Colgan trailing by 2. Bella Asciano erases that deficit with this line drive to the gap for a game-tying 2-run double. Later in the inning, it's Addie Bettiga giving the Panthers their first lead with a 2 RBI single, but an error would lead to this Little League home run. Let's go to the fourth inning now. Baxter looking to respond. Maya Vessel drives one to deep left, and it falls as Vessel gets into second with a double. Colgan get the sweep over Baxter 5-2 and 12-2. Let's go to Columbus now. The Titans facing off against Labette County. First inning, and Grizzlies' Kagan Bates does damage on the base pass. After stealing second, he takes off for third, and this overthrow brings him home. Labette leads 1-0. Let's go to the second. 2 in scoring position for Caden Nash, who finds the outfield grass, bringing home a pair with a 2-run single, making it 3-0. But here comes Columbus. Runners on the corners, and Jet Tanner darts for second, forcing an overthrow with Carter Woodcock scoring from third. But the Grizzlies take down the Titans 8-3, the final. Same team is battling at the same complex on the softball diamond. Third inning, Columbus trailing and looking for some runs. Runner on second with 2 outs, but Carson Moore gets the K to end the inning. She also homered in this game. Moving to the fourth, where the Titans break through. Runner on third, and Columbus plays small ball with a bunt. Emma Parson takes off on the throw and scores, beating the tag at the plate. Later in the frame, Kensley Blackledge flies it to shallow right, and it drops for a base hit, bringing home yet another run. But Labette takes down Columbus on the road. That's it for sports. We're back after the break.
Many Quapaw children lack proper shoes and clothing, and one program is stepping up to fill the gap. KOAM's Nellie Lopez spoke with Tiffany Hembry on why she started youth clothing donations to make a difference.
Our biggest thing is a lot of the kiddos around here do not have shoes or clothing that they can properly wear.
Tiffany Hembry did Shop with a Cop back in 2024. That's when she acknowledged the shortage of clothing for children in Quapaw Nation.
But maybe it just hasn't been noticed as much, or really maybe paid attention to. So when I had seen that was one thing that I really wanted to try and get taken care of. So hopefully we don't continue seeing this.
The Closet Cleanout Youth Clothing Donation is not only for juvenile affairs, it's intended to help all children in Quapaw.
We can do daycares, we can do the pre-K, the schools in this area. We try and keep it on the Quapaw Reservation, but if we do have kiddos that are in need, they just need to reach out to me, and then we can get it all taken care of.
Clothing gently used or new is preferred, though organizers say some items are best donated new.
Long sleeve shirts, short sleeve shirts. We're doing stocking caps. We have gloves, jackets, coats, like the undergarments and stuff. We just ask that it to be new for socks, things of that nature.
Donations have increased over the past couple of years, and Hembry says the need isn't going away. She says the next step is finding more space.
We're actually trying to purchase a building so we have a little bit of a bigger area, because I've got a smaller closet that I'll keep. But we also will do clothing for the ICW for Indian Child Welfare. So if they have any, emergency comes in, we have clothing for them.
In Quapaw, Oklahoma, Nellie Lopez, KOAM News.
And they're setting up 2 bins for donations at 3 locations: the Quixota Center, Quapaw Nation Administration Office, and Quapaw Nation Title VI building. The 3 locations will be accepting donations starting April 1st and will run through the end of May. Up next, SpongeBob adventures and thriller dramas arrive on streaming. A high-stakes sports drama, an animated adventure, and an Irish singer-songwriter are among this week's new digital DVD and music releases available to add to your home library. Fox's Annie Alopoulos runs down the list of what's new in home entertainment.
Backhand, backhand, forehand. The high-stakes sports drama Marty Supreme tops this week's list of new home releases. Timothy Chalamet stars as a 1950s ping pong player chasing a world championship. The Flying Dutchman? SpongeBob and Patrick set off on a wild adventure in the SpongeBob movie Search for SquarePants. After accidentally summoning the Flying Dutchman, they're forced into a dangerous quest into the underworld to prove their bravery.
5 years since the end of the world.
Gerard Butler returns as John Garrity in Greenland 2 Migration. The sequel follows the Garrity family as they are forced out of their bunker and into a dangerous journey across a devastated Earth.
Alice, she hit someone with her car.
Rosamund Pike and Matthew Rhys star in the psychological thriller Hallow Road. They play a couple pulled into a dark mystery after receiving a late-night call involving their daughter.
What you started here today? About to get a whole lot worse.
The action thriller Hellfire follows a drifter who takes on a ruthless crime boss in a small Texas town. Available to own or rent digitally, Scream 7 brings back Ghostface to terrorize a new group of survivors in a deadly game. The film arrives on DVD and Blu-ray June 16th. In music, singer-songwriter Dermot Kennedy releases his 3rd album, The Weight of the Woods, a personal record inspired by his Irish roots. Anna Eliopoulos, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thank you for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of 2 Tasmanian devils named Danny Zuko and Crush at the Los Angeles Zoo. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.